Right. Hello, everyone. So my name's Nathan from People's Fundraising, and today we're going to talk about how to boost your fundraising success using raffles, auctions, and tombolas. By the way, my share screen's over there, so occasionally I'm going to look to my right. So the reason why we have these sessions is that on our platform, there's a whole load of tools you can use to really go out and engage your supporters and generate more fundraising income, which is great. We always have a similar set of questions come up all the time. Okay, so these half-hour sessions and hour sessions are really to communicate how to use our tools, given the similar set of questions we're continually asked over time. Okay, so why are we talking about raffles, auctions, and tombolas today, as opposed to anything else, such as shops or lotteries and whatnot? So there will be separate sessions on those, so just look out for them. But the interesting thing about especially raffles is that when charities go out and fundraise, the first thing they always do with their supporter base, and when I talk about supporter base, I'm always talking about three groups. Firstly, individuals. Then I'm talking about communities, so it could be local schools, PTAs, and whatnot, but also local companies as well. So charities or non-profits go out and they ask their supporter base for donations. Now, after a while, donation fatigue kicks in, and that's where you're asking the same people all the time, but your supporter base don't have the means or inclination to donate to you anymore. And you see that all over the place. There are people asking you to donate. When you walk out of the supermarket, there are people asking you for donate. On charity websites now, the first thing you're asked or presented with is a donation button in the top right-hand corner. So people become quite numb to to donations after a while. So then charities, once they recognise this, they think, okay, if going out to our supporter base and ask for donations is not generating as much interest or income as we're like, we'll ask our supporter base to go out and for them to fundraise with their individual, well, to fundraise with their community. And that's your traditional, the old BT my donate, just giving type fundraising, whereby me as a supporter of a charity, I'll do something like a cake bake or marathon run, or I'll walk up Ben Nevis, and I'll go out to my supporter base and I'll ask for donations, which will ultimately go to the charity. Now, um, that is a really good way, an effective way of charities fundraising, and it has been over the last 10 or so years. But again, now that the statistics are in, we know that, again, donation fatigue kicks in there as well. So if I do, the example I always give, if I do a marathon run, my wife, my family and friends will donate to me. But if I do, say, 3, 4, 5 throughout the year, I'll be super fit, which would be great. But even my wife wouldn't donate to me anymore. She'll just think, look, Nathan, you're just doing it for yourself now. And, I've donated the last time you did the marathon run, for your supported charity, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay. So again, donation fatigue kicks in when it comes to fundraisers. Now, the other challenge when it comes to that type of fundraising is that only 20% of your community, individual community and corporate fundraisers are ever going to fundraise for you in that way. And the reason why is that if you think about it, you're asking your supporters to do something that is full of effort. It's there's a time cost, there's an effort cost, and sometimes there's a skills cost. So if I were to do a marathon run, there's a lot of time and effort I have to put into that. There's a lot of training. Even if I'm doing a cake bake, there's skill involved, there's time, there's effort, and there's cost on me to do that. So the statistics are in, only 20% of your supporter base are ever going to engage with that. Okay, so how can therefore charities, non-profits, engage with that 80%? Okay, so this is where charities come to the realization, well, okay, maybe we should engage with our supporters in a more interesting way. And so a lot of the time, charities, non-profits, they look for the next thing, and typically that is raffles. Okay, so we go through setting up a raffle and some really good ways of engaging with your supporters over time to do raffles. Okay. And so this is why we're talking about Raffles today, because this is that next step in your fundraising journey if you want to engage your supporters more. Now, we're ahead of the game in terms of where you are going on your fundraising journey with your supporters. And that's why we're introducing auctions and tombolas. And in future talks, we'll talk about things like lotteries and shops and gift vouchers as well, because that is generally part of the proactive charities fundraising journey. The more they realize that fundraising is a continuous communication with the supporter base, and you're introducing fundraising asks throughout that conversation that are interesting to the supporter, that generally don't require a lot of effort, such as walking up Ben Nevis or doing a marathon run, and where the supporter can potentially get something back, the more revenue you generate. Okay, so let's jump straight in, and we'll just set up a raffle really quickly, and I'll talk about some of the things that we found produce more successful raffles on our platform for nonprofits. Okay, so let me just sign in. I'm just going to bring up my logging page. So when you log into People's Fundraising, you'll see your charity control panel where you have your ward and campaigns, you have access to all of your tools, and you have your quick statistics on the left-hand side. Interestingly enough, if you logged into your branded platform, this is quite interesting for yourself, Cameron. If you logged into your branded platform, then the complete look and feel would be that of your own charity brand, which is quite nice. So this is a YMCA Black Country version, which is quite nice. Okay, so setting up a raffle is super simple. You just click on Raffles, you click on Create a Raffle. Now, what we've done with our system is that we try to provide a range of fundraising tools you can go out and engage with your supporter base, but we've tried to make the user interface consistent. So for, again, the proactive charities out there who realize that, you know, they need to engage with their supporter base through more interesting means, there's a cost to you if you have to, say, log onto one system to do events, another system to do raffles, another system to do auctions. And there's a back office cost in terms of doing that. And there's also a back office cost in terms of consuming that data. Okay. Now, with the single platform approach, you've got all of that data from one system, and there's one user interface you need to know. So setting up any type of page is pretty, if you set up a raffle page, you can set up an auction page, you can set up a lottery page, for example. Okay, so let me put in the page name. By the way, can you put yourself on mute if you're not speaking, please? Okay, so our charity raffle. Okay, so every page has a page name and a page description. Now did I turn myself off? Can you still hear me? Good. Right, so every page has a page name and page description. The number one rule of websites is people don't read anything. So keep the description as short as you possibly can, make it brief but concise. The address to the raffle page will be peoplesfundraising.com/raffle, and then something of your choice. Again, if it's your own branded platform, this will be, say, YMCA, Thames Gateway or Black Country, etc. Now, for all of the pages, be they raffles, tombolas, auctions, shops, gift vouchers, lotteries, we consider them all as fundraising pages. So even if you're selling tickets for an event, it's still a fundraising activity. And supporters, they're really interested in terms of how much you're generating through the page. So you can, if you want, you don't have to, display the total generated on the page. You can also display the total number of supporters who've purchased on the page. And that's a really interesting bit of information to show supporters. So, for example, if you're setting up your raffle and your raffle prize can be anything, by the way. But if it's something like, well, you're going to get like half of the income generated on the page, then this is a really good statistics to put on. Or, for example, this is a really good statistic to put on to show how many people are engaging in the page. Okay. You can also display your QR code on the page, and you can make your page public. Making your page public means it will appear on your charity wall and charity hub and on search results on people's fundraising. Okay, let's look at the raffle specifics now. So I set up my raffle ticket price. It can be anything you want it to be. Now, we typically see the average price for a raffle ticket is about £3. Okay, now that should be aligned, we believe, with the type of prizes that you have. So if you have a raffle and you're raffling off something that is a very high value, then you can make this a very high number. Okay, but if you're just raffling off generic widgets, then you want to be as inclusive as possible. Not for the sake of inclusion, but for the sake of game theory. Now, game theory is really important when it comes to raffles, auctions, and whatnot. And the reason is this: if I enter your raffle, I want to win something. Okay, now I want to, and it's a game I'm playing with you. Okay, the raffle is a game. You have to recognize that. Now, I want to enter the raffle, and I want to know that I've got a chance of winning. So if you put your ticket price too high, I won't be able to enter as many times as I could if it was low, and therefore I'd have less chance of winning. And therefore, if I never win, I'm never going to play the game into the future. And we see this quite a lot, actually. Getting the raffle ticket price is a bit of an art. And we see that in actual fact in something related, which is lotteries. A lot of charities are doing the charity lottery, whereby the winning prize could be £100,000, £50,000, or whatnot. And what charities realise after a while is because when people enter the lottery, they pretty much know they're never going to win. Because the value is so high, somebody's going to win, of course, but the likelihood of anyone going to win is very, very low. It becomes a game that you can't win. So after a while, you stop playing the game. Okay. So just think about the value of the raffle ticket. Again, generic widgets, make it as low as possible, maybe £1-2. But if you're raffling off high value items, make sure it's higher. You need to make sure that the prizes you have, you can get a corresponding amount of money plus back. Okay, you also specify the number of raffle tickets you have to sell, and then you specify the minimum and maximum raffle tickets that somebody can buy at any one point. Now, this is really important as well. And again, it comes down to game theory and if I'm going to win or not. So the scenario is I have two people, one person who can only give £10 and one person who can give £1,000. If I didn't limit the amount of raffle tickets that one could buy, then the person with £1,000 who would give £1,000 would always win the prizes, and the person with £10 would never win the prizes. Okay, so the person with only £10, if you had multiple raffles, would stop playing the raffle because they would never win, because the person with £1,000 would always win. So we do things like limiting per order. So the person with £1,000, they can only buy £10 worth of tickets, and the person with £10 can only buy roughly around £10 of tickets as well. However, the person still wants to give £1,000 minus the £10 worth of tickets. So what you do in that case, you add the ability for that person to add an optional donation at the same time. So you just link a donation page to the raffle page, and when that person with £1,000 is only presented with the option to only buy £10 worth, they can still give you the extra money via making an optional donation, which can be gift aided. Okay, so remember, it's all about the fairness of the game. Okay, so we've limited our purchase to minimum and maximum per order. Then there's a sales start and end date. which can be anything you want. You can put the start date into the future and advertise and publicize and market your raffle. People get excited, and when the start date um, is passed, people can start entering the raffle. Okay, we'll come to drawing in a little while. By law, you need to enter a promoter name, an address, and an email address. Now, this information is communicated on the email that is sent to somebody who's bought some raffle tickets, okay, such that they know who you are and they can contact you. Okay, so very simply, this is the only information we need to set up a basic page. We click create. Now, within People's Fundraising, whenever you create a page, you're always asked to assign one or many campaigns to your page, where a campaign is an area of focus within your organization. It could be the generic organizational campaign, or it could be we're raising money for your extension, or this is the Easter campaign, or the Christmas campaign, or whatnot. And you can even split as well payments onto the page. So you can say, I don't know, 10% going to one campaign, 20% to another, and 70% to another campaign. You can also, should you wish, split between multiple charities and non-profits. Say if you're in a scenario whereby you are, maybe it's say one YMCA branch doing a fundraiser with another YMCA branch, you're both marketing the same raffle, but you're both splitting the money through that raffle. Sometimes you get greater reach if you are partnering with other organizations. So our platform allows you to split in a corresponding way. So I'm just going to assign it to the generic campaign. And then the system asks you to enter raffle prizes. Now, your prizes can be anything you would like them to be. So you could set up a raffle to say something like the winner will receive, I don't know, 50% of the income. They're always really, really good raffles because you don't need to go and find the prizes. Or if you have a local partnership with a company and maybe they've got some widgets they've got spare, then you can um, raffle off those widgets. Okay. The other thing with raffles and prizes is that, and this is a really nice thing to understand, is that a lot of charities, they think they're going to do the seasonal raffle, so the spring raffle and the Christmas raffle and the summer raffle, do those because people, there's almost like an expectation that there's going to be that seasonal raffle. But especially when you have relationships with local companies, if a local company gives you just randomly a toaster, I always give this example, then there's no reason why you can't say do a 24-hour flash raffle. This local company has given us a toaster. Thanks very much. They're supporting in the way they can, not with money, but with toasters. Now we're going to raffle off this toaster, 24 hours. Who wants it? Okay, so the platform enables you to do, yes, those seasonal or longer term raffles, but also note that your supporters want that interesting engagement. The raffle is a mechanism to do that, but the long term raffle, there's like a build off of excitement, but it's a different experience if you're saying to your supporter base, it's literally you got 24 hours to enter the raffle or not. It's quite an exciting experience. So just note that your prizes can be anything, and also your durations of your raffles can be anything as well. So we're going to say, I don't know, 50% of money raised on page as the prize, but it can be anything you want it to be. You can upload an associated image as well, and you specify how many of this prize there are, and then you link it to your raffle page and you press create. So that was really very quick. We just entered a little bit of information, and now if we look at this page now, we've got a fully functional page. It's got the prizes where I can now go and buy my raffle tickets. I've been limited to 10. I put in my details here. If I've got a gift voucher, I'll put in my gift voucher code, which will potentially reduce the price or pay for it. and then I can enter my optional donation as well, which can be gift aided. Okay, so you'll notice on the Raffle page itself, you've got a few different payment methods. By law in the UK, you can only use debit card or debit to do gambling purchases. So that is they're tombolas, lotteries, and raffles. So we restrict it to debit card. Gift voucher is a payment method that's probably new to yourselves. So you can create a gift voucher page on the platform. I can use any payment method to, say, create a gift voucher of £100. I send that to my wife, and my wife can then enter the raffle or buy a ticket for an event or make a donation using that gift voucher. And in doing so, you get that money, because otherwise maybe my wife wouldn't have come to yourself as a charity to make a donation, but I'm your supporter and I've gifted my wife that money. So you get that money, but also you get potentially get an access to a new supporter in my wife, because she may not have come to yourself other than being gifted a gift voucher. Okay. Now you also have the ability to make offline and offline bulk payments. Now what this means is that say if somebody gives you cash, check, bank transfer, or you just want to give out raffle tickets for free, you can register on those on the system one by one with offline and in bulk with offline bulk. So I specify how many tickets, I specify the payment method, payment in kind, bank transfer, check, etc. I put in the supporters' details, and potentially if they've given me an optional donation, and then I enter them into the raffle. Okay, so this is typically, particularly useful again if people are just giving you cash check. But you can imagine the scenario whereby you're at a sit down do. You've sent out your link to the raffle before the event. People are clicking on the link, because you sent it to them via your social media channels or via email. You've put the QR code all around physical locations. People are scanning on them. At the physical event as well, you've got the QR codes on the tables. People are scanning on them. But some people just have cash. So, maybe they go to a nominated person who takes the cash, and then they enter the cash on the night of the event as an offline or offline bulk, and then they're entered into the raffle. Okay, so the platform allows you to not only manage your access via QR codes and via online means, but also to register cash purchases and whatnot. Okay, so let's go back to the raffle page itself and look at other things we can do to make the raffle more enticing, or to support uh, moving that support on to the next action. Okay, so if we click update, we can do things like change the theme of the raffle page itself. So as we saw, the default look and feel for the raffle page looks like this. Now you can change the look and feel to essentially look like any one of the themes we have on the platform. So I believe this is a color run theme. This is a nice little cat type theme. And so themes make the page more context specific. Okay. So this is a theme that's generally not used for raffles, but it's used for discos. And again, what you want to do again with all of your pages is make them as context specific as possible, and then people will engage with those pages more. You can obviously upload images into the description field. You can embed things like YouTube videos and Flickr slideshows by putting the URLs there. So if you have a YouTube channel, you click on the share link and you put the share link URL in this here, and the YouTube video will appear in the channel, will appear in the page. You can turn off and on payment methods. As I said with previously with Raffles, you can only take debit card, but you could take off the gift voucher payment method if you wanted. The offline payment methods only appear to you when you're logged into the platform, when you own the page, so they're not obviously available for supporters just to enter their own cash purchases. You can also add an age verification as well. So you can say, I need, so the person needs to be 18 years or over, or 16 or whatever. And we've added the optional donation. Now, a new feature recently is we've added the ability that you can add or link a Tombola page to the raffle. Now, you can, with optional donations and Tombolas, you can link those to all of our pages on the platform. So it's quite obvious why you'd link an optional donation to, say, somebody buying a raffle ticket or an event ticket or something from the shop, because I just want to, me as a supporter just wants to give you more money. But the Tombola, we're going to Tombolas in a moment, but a Tombola is essentially a lucky dip where the supporter knows what they've won immediately. Now, the reason why we've linked Tombolas to all of our pages is that it provides an enticement to buy. Okay, so say you've got a raffle and it's quite a high value raffle, maybe the tickets are £5 and whatnot. You can say, well, okay, as well as buying the raffle ticket, we're also going to give you a free entry into the tombola whereby you can maybe win some chocolates or something like that. Okay, so what we're trying to do here, we're trying to create really engaging experiences for your supporters, to ultimately give you money, and enticing to purchase is seen in adding the optional tombola. Okay, now there's a whole load of other things you can do as well. So remember, fundraising is a journey. Um, you want to have a continuous communication with your supporter base. Talking about all the amazing things you're doing as a charity or non-profit. And again, through those conversations, you should introduce a fundraising ask. So every interaction we see as an opportunity, you can point that person to the next action or communicate something about what you're doing or your successes or your failures. Okay, so there are a few touch points you can take advantage of. So the first one is when somebody's purchased a raffle ticket or tombola or auction, we'll come to those in a minute, they're going to get an email from the system to essentially describe what they've purchased. You can add wording to that email with an email notification message. Okay. And again, what we're doing here, we're just taking the opportunity to potentially point them to next action or describe something that you've done as well. When somebody makes a purchase, they're going to go to a thank you page. Okay, it's quite a basic thank you page. So let's look at what that thank you page currently looks like. Okay, so the thank you page with a theme currently looks like this. We'll just take off the theme actually to make it a default, and then I'll show you what the default thank you page looks like. Okay, that's catch. Anyway, the thank you page has this information on it. It says the number of items purchased, and it communicates the email address that will be the receipt will be sent to. Okay, so we can use that interaction with the supporter and add a notification message. Again, what we're doing here is we're taking the opportunity to continue the conversation with the supporter, to point them to the next action, to tell them something that you've done. Okay. So just as the example, I'll just highlight it so we see it. Okay, so now when somebody makes a purchase, they're now presented with that extra wording. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can add a questionnaire to the thank you message as well. Now, the more you know about the supporters, the more you can tailor the experiences to your supporters as well. Okay, so again, you can ask them any number of questions, and the answers are either free text, yes, no, male, female, true, false, or a list. Okay, remember what we're trying to do here, we're always trying to understand more about the supporter, okay, such that we can have more of a tailored relationship with the supporter. Okay, we're just going to add one question, how they're feeling today. And again, this will appear on the thank you page as well. Now, the other thing you can add to the thank you page is what's called an e-card. So fundraising, again, is about a a journey. It's about building relationships with your supporters. Now, the wider the supporter base, the more potential money you can generate. So you send the raffle page to your supporters. Now, it would be great to be able to access your supporters. Now, you can do that with an e-card. So what an e-card allows you to do is you can set up a template that on a purchase, the person who purchases something can email that template to their own network, family, friends, wife, husband, etc. And in doing so, what you're doing there, you're taking the opportunity to not only extend the conversation with the supporter who's purchased something, but empower them to communicate to their supporter base, in this case, that a raffle's happening. Okay, so we're going to add an e-card as well. Okay. And I just want to change the theme. Let's put dark blue up. Okay. Right. And now if I look at the thank you page now, the thank you page looks something like that, something like this. Again, you've got the basic wording. Now you've got your notification message here. Again, it could be anything you're communicating to them. It could be lots of text. It could have links to different things. You have your questionnaire now. Again, it could be any number of questions. And now you have your e-card, whereby if I click on this, this will be the template that's sent out to my supporters. And me, as somebody who's purchased, I'm asked to enter a recipient name, email, and a message. And that will be emailed out to, in this case, my wife. Okay. So again, what we're doing here is, yes, it's about a raffle. Yes, it's about generating income through the raffle. But beyond that, it's about using these small techniques and tools to continue the conversation. Right, and that's it. Super high level for raffles. They're really, really good means of generating income. Think about the cost of the raffle ticket, though. Again, if you're selling high value items, that the cost of the raffle ticket should be higher. Um, don't think you just need to do seasonal raffles. You can do flash 24-hour raffles and whatnot. The other last thing with the raffles, if you have a raffle and you say you have 100 prizes, we always suggest to reduce the number of prizes you have on your raffle. Okay, and the reason why is that, remember, fundraising is a journey. It's not just an end point of doing a raffle. So especially if you haven't got a super wide supporter base, if you have too many prizes, then you could have a scenario where one person wins multiple prizes. But we find it better that if you have multiple prizes, to split it up maybe into 10, 15 prizes, and then to do multiple raffles over time. So remember, your supporters want to be part of your organization. They want to engage with you over time. It's not just about give us money now, we're doing a raffle. We think supporters prefer if you engage with them multiple points over time as opposed to just one time. Okay. So, any questions on the raffles at the moment before we go into auctions and tombolas? Okay, so let's now look at auctions. So, the reason why we're going to look at auctions now is that they work in a very complementary way to raffles. And the reason why I say this is that one question we have from charities all the time is that a charity may have a very high value item. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Claire. Let's have a look. What's your message there? Oh yes, with you're correct. With raffles, you do need a local authority license. Yeah. So any uh, it's called online raffle. You just need a license for that, and we have links in the platform for where you can go and read up about the relevant licensing as well. Okay. but it's quite an easy process to get a license from a local authority. Okay, so going back to auctions again. So one of the big questions or questions that comes up very often when it comes to charities looking at raffles is that they have some high value items and they don't know how much to set the raffle price at. They don't fully know how many people are going to engage in the raffle. So they don't know if they're going to generate enough income to justify the prizes themselves. Okay, that's always the big problem. Now, charities get around that if they're given prizes, and they get around that if they, instead of having like loads and loads of prizes on the raffle, they split it up over time. But still, if you have a prize and it's cost you money, you may not get the relevant return because of the value of the item. So, what a lot of charities and non-profits do, they first initiate a raffle with an auction, or even independent of thinking about it in the context of a raffle. If you have some high value prizes, and specifically if you know that there are some people who are interested, then you would auction them off irrespective. Now, there's a couple. Obviously, there's a couple of subtle differences between raffles and auctions. With raffles, people will always win the prizes as long as enough raffle tickets have been sold. So if you have 10 prizes and at least one person buys 10 tickets, all of those prizes will be gone. Now, that person may have spent £10 on those 10 tickets and the prizes may cost £100. So you've lost a lot of money there. Okay. Um, so always know that all of your prizes are generally always going to go with a raffle. Now, with an auction, your prizes are only going to go if they reach the low bid threshold. So this is why sometimes charities, especially for high value items, hold an auction before, for high value items, a raffle. Okay. So let's just do an example. Again, every page has a page name and description. Again, with our user interface, we just want you to get to know one interface as opposed to 5 different interfaces for 5 different tools. As is the case, again, it will be peoplesfundraising.com, or if it was your own branded platform, it was something like YMCA Thames Gateway or something like that, /auction, and then something. You can display the total generated on the page. And for auctions, by the way, the total generated on the page will reflect the highest bids for the items. The total number of supporters, you can display the QR code on the page. And similar to raffles, you've got an auction bid start and end dates. The system can email out automatically who's won what once the auction has finished according to the bidding dates. And then we have a function called anti-sniping. So it's human nature to think that if within an auction they bid in the last couple of minutes, they're always going to win the prize. So what anti-sniping allows you to do, it says if somebody bids, say, 10 minutes before the end of the auction, then increase the auction by 5 minutes. And in this case, it gets around that human behavior of everyone trying to bid at just a few seconds or minutes before the end of the auction, just so they can get that prize. If somebody does, the end of the auction will continually be extended until the natural bidding cycle has ended. Now, this is really, really exciting. For example, if you're holding this type of auction again at a physical event, or even online, you're communicating out to your supporter base that maybe there's like an hour to go with your auction, via Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, and then the bids are coming in the last few minutes, and then you're communicating, oh, you know what, the system's automatically extended, so it creates a really, really nice buzz. Bidding for items is super gamified. Once you get a couple of people within that bidding cycle, it's just great. It's such a nice game. It's a totally different experience from buying a raffle ticket. Okay, so let's create that. And again, with all of our pages, we assign a campaign. Again, we can split those the payments. And then similar to auctions, we add our prizes. So you obviously can't do cash prizes with auctions, so they have to be things. Okay, and again, the things could be anything. It could be you have an hour meeting with the CEO of the charity. That's a really nice thing. Or it could be, again, a local company is giving you a toaster, or somebody within your charity, maybe some of the service users has created some art. So it could be literally anything that you have. It could be something tangible, something not tangible, like the meeting with the CEO. Okay, so we're actually going to do the CEO one. So chat with our CEO. And the other thing to notice about the prizes and the nature of prizes is the different prizes will appear to different segments within your supporter base. So there are going to be some supporters who they really don't care about the meeting with the CEO, but there are going to be some supporters who do. So maybe if you're going out there and you're engaging with businesses, yeah, and those businesses are really interested, or local communities, maybe schools and stuff. They're really interested in terms of how to manage and run a non-profit and charity. Then this would, cater more to that audience. Whereas if it was just your general individual supporters, maybe a toaster or something would be a better prize. Again, the prizes, they can be super high value. We've had prizes that have been jewelry and whatnot, but they can literally be anything you want them to be. You have a starting bid, a bid increment, and the reserve price. And it's the reserve price that really gets around that issue of we have a prize and we need it to achieve at least a certain amount of money. So you set that as a reserve price. And then we create. So after a few clicks, we've got a fully functional um, auction page. I think I set the I set the sales start and end dates incorrectly. So let's go and create a new auction page super quick again. Just setting up an auction page this quickly, it shows you how quickly you can set up these type of pages. I've got my prices, create. Okay, so same page, I've now got my bid button. And if you have multiple prizes, if you have 3 or more, they'll start to appear here. I put in my details. The bid defaults to the next bid according to the bid increment. I put my details in and then I bid on the item. Now, as soon as I bid on the item, I get an email to say what I've bid on. And if somebody comes and outbids me, then I will get an email to say that somebody's outbid me with a link to make a further bid. So the whole notion of bidding becomes really gamified. It's really quite interesting. Now we can obviously change the theme of the auction. We can add images, we can embed social media links. Again, we can add an optional donation for the winner. And when people bid, they can be entered into the optional tombola as well. So all of the same features exist with respect to adding images, social media, and linking and donation pages as with Raffles. Now, any questions on the auctions before I finish off with tombolas? Okay. So let's look at Tombolas then. So Tombolas is a new tool within our set of tools. Now, the reason why we introduced Tombolas is that a lot of charities do auctions and raffles, and what we found with raffles was that a raffle has a start and end date, and people only know the win at the end date. So if you're, if you've got a like half a year raffle, that's a long time for people to really, sustain the excitement of the raffle. Okay, so Tombolas is essentially a raffle game. However, a supporter knows what they've won immediately. Okay, so let's set up the page and I'll show you. Again, you do the themes, add images, restrict payment methods, do the age verification, add the optional donation. You've got the same set of tools here: display the total number of supporters, etc. And similar to the raffle, you put the price to enter the tombola, the minimum and maximum per purchase, and a sale start and end date. And similar to Raffle again, you put the promoter name and address. Okay, so hopefully it looks exactly the same as a raffle. So far, we add our campaign, and then we add our prizes. Now this is where the differences really start to show. So with a raffle, somebody's always going to win the prizes on offer. Now, what you don't want to do in a raffle, you don't want people to say enter and then tell them they haven't won anything. So they've either won something or not. Now, with tombolas, you specifically want to tell people that they haven't won something. So what you do is you have a prize which is like you haven't won this time type of prize. Okay. And you specify how many of these are there. So we're going to specify there are 9 of these. Okay. And then we're going to create the tombola page. So at the moment, if I enter the tombola, I'm just going to win something that's nothing because it's telling me I haven't won anything. So I'm going to add another tombola prize, which is, it could be anything. Again, it could be the star prize. And now there's going to be one of these. It's assigned to the tombola page. And now if I look at my tombola page, again, very similar to Raffles in terms of theming and videos and whatnot, I can alter it. I can now buy debit card gift voucher. So for all intents and purposes, it's exactly the same as Raffles. Again, I can enter my gift vouchers. However, the difference is that the system automatically draws from the pool of prizes and informs the supporter immediately. Now, on tombolas, we give a visual representation of the prizes that can be won. Now, in this case, there's a 1 in 10 chance of winning the star prize. Okay. And again, you can add images to these things and whatnot to really highlight that. Because this is a new tool, we're still going and asking, yourselves how you would like this page to be represented. But at the moment, we're giving a visual representation of all of the prizes. So somebody can literally see there's a lot of these and there's one of these. Now with tombolas, the downside about tombolas is somebody can win the star prize in the very first draw. Okay. So you need to balance up your prizes to the income you want to generate over time. Okay. Now, over time, if the purchase price was £1 and you had 1 in 10 chance of winning, um, then the star prize should be probably £5 or something like that. And then if you repeatedly had multiple star prizes, so say somebody won this star prize, you added another star prize to the tombola, over time you would generate about £5 over, each segment you look at it over time. Okay. So yeah, Tombola is a really, really interesting way. They really extends that raffle journey to something really quite different. Now we're starting to see charities and non-profits create perpetual tombolas as well. Okay, so one of the questions in the context of raffles was that, or that's asked many times, is can we add prizes to the raffle? Okay, so we always say yes, you can always add prizes to the raffle, but never take prizes away from the raffle. People are signing up to the raffle because they can see the raffle prizes they may win. Okay, so it's just wrong to take away the prizes, but adding prizes to the raffle essentially gives you the another opportunity to go to your supporter base and say, you know what, guys, thanks for entering the raffle. We just added some more prizes to the raffle. You're touching base with your supporters. There's a little bit more interest created there, and then they may go out to their own family and friends network and say, some more prizes have been added to the raffle. Let's go and buy some more tickets, right? So with raffles, always take the opportunity to add to the raffle prizes. And you would do that, for example, if you just haven't organized all the prizes for the raffle yet, or if you're seeing that lots of people are entering the raffle and you want to give more people more opportunity to win something more. Okay, so that's a very nice situation to be in. Now, if we relate that to tombolas, you can imagine a scenario whereby you have a continuous tombola. So everyone knows the link or the QR code to the tombola. And as you get prizes in, you're just going out to your supporter base and you're saying, look, this great local company has given us a toaster. you know, try your luck on our, continuous or perpetual tombola. And so they'll buy their tombola tickets and they would know immediately if they've won something or not. Again, it's a totally different type of interaction when it comes to tombolas, a very different engagement model. Okay. Right. So any questions on tombolas before I go into just finish off talking about tagging? No? Okay. So we talked about the ability to add things like email notification messages and questionnaires and e-cards. Something else that's really important when it comes to raffles, auctions, tombolas, is the notion of short linking and tagging. Okay, so especially if you're going to hold, say, multiple raffles over a period of time, one problem with, say, sending out the specific link to the Easter tombola or Christmas raffle or the auction is that if I scan on a QR code and I click on a link from a year ago, I'm going to go to a page that is now old. So that's a missed opportunity. So what you can do with short linking is you can essentially you abstract the name. And so instead of that long link, it's something like peoplesfundraising.com, or if it was a branded platform, it'd be something like YMCA or something like that, /, and then whatever you wanted it to be with its own QR code. So you assign this to the current, in this case, tombola. And if that tombola had an end date and you created a new tombola, you would essentially assign the short link to the new tombola. Okay. And therefore, you only have one QR code and one link to the current tombola. And so I print the QR code and put it on printed material for the raffle or auction. And if somebody scans on something from a year ago, they'd always go to the current raffle or tombola. Okay. So, which is great. Now, the other thing charities ask all the time is, okay, we've created these really good combinations of raffles and auctions and tombolas, and we know we've got one link to them all, but from where are people clicking? We've sent out the link via email, we put it on our social media accounts, we printed it out, and we put it on little leaflets. There are QR codes in the shop locations. If you're a PTA at the school gate, you've got the QR codes all over the place. But we don't know where people are planning or scanning or clicking. So with tagging, what you can do is, oh, okay, I've just been logged out there. Let me log back in. Let's go to Tombolas. Right. So with tagging, what you can do is you can take your short link or long link and you can make it specific. So, for example, if you sent out an email with the link in June, yeah, the short link is tagged with email June and the QR code is tagged with email June. So that means that you publish this link. Sorry about that. You publish this link to the June email, and when people click on it, you're going to know that people, X amount of people clicked on the email June link as opposed to anything else. And so again, you could have a generic one for Facebook, or so this has Facebook embedded in it, or um, the cash register in the shop, even though that's spelt incorrectly. Now, you can also use this if you have people who are going out and reselling for you as well. Okay, so if John and Sophie, they've been given the task of going out and selling raffle tickets, you can now give John his own link and QR code that he would go out, sell the raffle tickets, and then via the reporting mechanism, you could show that John had sold £1,000 worth of raffle tickets, and then remunerate or otherwise John appropriately. So short linking with tagging are really, really good extra tools that add to that journey of fundraising, especially in the context of raffles, auctions, and tombolas and whatnot. Right. So there we go. Super quick overview. I thought that was only going to take half an hour, but that took a little bit longer. So any questions from the team before I just shut down for the day? No, okay. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time. Again, if you do have any questions or queries, we're always here to help and support you. And this will be posted to YouTube. And yeah, have fun fundraising. Thanks very much for your time today. Bye.
Thank you very much.